Why do so many great men, warriors, thinkers, poets, builders of empires, fall not by sword or enemy, but at the altar of woman's affection? Why is it that the greater the man, the more invisible he becomes to most women? This is the brutal truth history never taught you, but Napoleon saw it. And now, you will too. They will call this madness. They will say these words reek of bitterness, pride, or defeat. But I say to you, what is bitter is not the man who sees clearly, but the one who believes lies sweetly whispered by poets and mothers. I led armies across Europe. I stood above kings and toppled crowns. But the truth I reveal now is the only one men fear more than death. Most women do not want great men. Not truly. Not deeply. Not unless the greatness flatters them. Not unless it bends to serve their comfort. This is not hatred. This is history. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. The man who builds empires must rise early, sleep late, bleed often, and love sparingly. He sacrifices. He becomes dangerous. But that danger, that divine obsession, is not adored. It is feared. Most women prefer the man who is present, not the man who is becoming. The builder is too busy. The dreamer too distant. And so the average woman chooses the softer man, the more available man. The man she can hold, not the man others worship. The truth few men wish to accept is this: women are drawn to security, not sacrifice. A man consumed by a mission is not safe, not predictable, not pliable. He is fire, and fire warms, yes, but it burns. So she turns to the gentler heat of mediocrity. She marries it. She nests in it. Meanwhile, the great man, too brilliant, too obsessed, too unyielding, is admired from a distance, but rarely chosen. Do not measure your worth by the attention of women. The pedestal they place you on today is the very ledge they'll push you from tomorrow. History is littered with powerful men who bent the knee for a woman and lost empires for it. Because she did not want the lion. She wanted the lamb in lion's clothing. Most women cannot love the man whose shadow frightens her comfort. They reward compliance, not conquest. A man who chases women abandons his throne. He becomes a beggar in silk. The more he offers, the more she withholds. Not out of cruelty, but instinct. Because power pursued is power lost. The man who places her above his mission is no longer a king. He is a servant in his own court. And the tragedy, he calls this love. No, young man. Love that is bought with sacrifice of your purpose is not love. It is surrender. A man who dares to rise above the ordinary, who chooses the path of obsession, legacy, and ruthless self-discipline, will soon learn this truth. The higher he climbs, the lonelier the path becomes. And among those who vanish first from that path are most women. Why? Why is it that the very qualities that build civilizations, focus, intensity, vision, danger, are the same qualities that drive most women away? It is because greatness demands a sacrifice. And the man willing to make that sacrifice becomes unrecognizable to the average heart. The man who disappears for days inside his craft, who forgets birthdays in pursuit of destiny, who refuses to bow to emotion when strategy is needed. That man is not comforting. He is not safe. He is not romantic in the ways she's been taught to expect. He is busy. He is becoming. And in that transformation, he ceases to be familiar. He becomes an idea, not a man. A force, not a companion. And most women, they do not fall in love with forces. They fall in love with presence, with attention, with the soft moments, the quiet smiles, the shared glances over morning bread. But the man of greatness, he has no morning. He has no quiet. His mind is already at war before the world wakes. His hands are already shaping the future while others scroll through distractions. You think she will wait. You think she will understand. That she will see the storm inside you and stand in awe. But most will not. Most will grow resentful. Why are you always working? She will ask. Why can't you just relax? You're never here. You've changed. Yes, you have changed. You were supposed to. You were never meant to stay soft, available, and predictable. You were meant to become sharp, precise, untouchable. That is the cost of greatness, and the price is often paid in silence. She may say she wants an ambitious man. She may tell her friends she loves a man with vision. But what she often means, and rarely admits, is, I want a man who is ambitious, until his ambition takes him further than I can follow. And that is when the road begins to narrow. That is when the evenings become silent. That is when the bed grows colder. Not because you are less of a man, but because you are becoming more of one. The lonely paradox is this: the better you become, the fewer will remain. Not because they hate you, but because they no longer understand you. You are chasing immortality. They are chasing weekends. You are trying to conquer time. They are trying to kill it. She wanted a partner, but you became a legend, and legends do not make good husbands. They make history. There is a truth too sharp for polite society, too dangerous for classrooms, too unkind for fairy tales. And it is this: most women do not desire greatness in a man. They desire peace. Not the peace of a resolved war, but the quiet comfort of a man who never declared one in the first place. They say they want a strong man, a leader, a visionary. But what they mean, in the hidden place where honesty hides, is simple. They want safety, familiarity, predictability, and above all, control. But the man destined for greatness is the exact opposite of all those things. He is chaos. He is untamed fire, not a hearth, but a blaze. His presence doesn't soothe, it unsettles. His focus does not orbit her. It pierces through walls she cannot even see. And that is why she flinches. Why do you have to work so much? Why can't we just take a break? Why does everything have to be about your mission? These are not questions. These are alarms, sirens of dissonance. Because your drive, your obsession, it does not calm her nervous system. It threatens it. She wants routine. You offer upheaval. She wants warmth. You radiate pressure. She wants a Sunday morning. You bring a battlefield. You, the man building something larger than life. You are unstable in her world. Not because you are reckless, but because you are becoming something she cannot control. And control is what most women seek when they say they want love. They want to predict you, to know your hours, your moods, your plans. But your plans don't belong to this world. They belong to eternity. You have no patience for dinner table gossip, no interest in petty dramas, no time for endless validation. You are chasing something that doesn't make sense to her. And that's exactly what frightens her. Because if she cannot influence you, then where does she belong in your kingdom? You are building an empire, not a garden. You are constructing legacy, not comfort. You are shedding your softness, sharpening your edges, starving your weakness. And to her, this doesn't feel like love. It feels like distance. And she will try, oh yes, she will try to pull you back. Through seduction, through tears, through ultimatums wrapped in affection. Come home. Slow down. Be more present. But presence is death for the man possessed by purpose. And slowing down is the first step toward mediocrity. She wants the man who makes her feel safe. But you were never meant to be a safety net. You were meant to be a sword. You are chaos. Not because you are cruel, but because you are creating something that did not exist before. And creation is violent. It disrupts. It breaks. It terrifies. And she will confuse that terror for incompatibility. Look closely, not at what they say, but at what they choose. Not the words, not the dreams, not the romantic ideals whispered into the wind, but the actions, the patterns, the truth behind the veil. And you will see something that will fracture your soul if you are not prepared. The man most women choose is rarely the man most worthy. It is not the conqueror, not the builder, not the man who wakes before the sun and bleeds into his craft. No, it is the agreeable one, the available one, the one who bends, not stands, the one who asks, "What do you need?" before he ever asks, "What do I demand?" And you wonder, how can this be? Why does the man who gives everything receive so little? Why does the lion watch the sheep get chosen? Why does the storm get passed over for the breeze? Because strength, true, unbending strength, makes comfort uneasy. The man who cannot be molded cannot be owned. And what cannot be owned cannot be controlled. And what cannot be controlled is often rejected. She says she wants ambition, but not the kind that makes her feel small. She says she admires confidence, but not the kind that doesn't need her approval. She says she wants a king, but only if she can still rule his heart like a queen. And when he doesn't let her, she will call him cold, distant, emotionally unavailable, dangerous. But the truth is more brutal than that. He is not cold. He is not distant. He is simply not dependent. He is complete. And that is terrifying. So she turns to the lesser man, the one who calls her goddess, with trembling hands, the one who reshapes himself to fit her fears, the one who mistakes validation for love, attention for devotion, submission for intimacy. And he wins her. For a while. He gets the smiles, the soft words, the comfort of approval. But he does not get her respect. Because somewhere deep inside, she knows. She knows she didn't choose the better man. She chose the safer one. History shows this over and over. How many men with crowns have lost them chasing a woman who wanted a man without one? How many men abandoned their thrones to be loved, only to be left behind when their power faded? The world does not reward greatness with affection. It rewards familiarity with attention. It honors the obedient with applause. And so the man who leads, truly leads, walks alone through most of his journey. Because leadership is not attractive until the war is won. Power is not desired until it serves her dreams. And legacy is not romantic until it no longer threatens her comfort. But by then, it is too late. The empire is built. The gates are closed. The lesser men still kneel. And the great man no longer looks back. There is a sickness in the modern man, a quiet disease, dressed up as romance. It begins with a thought. Then it becomes a belief. Then it devours his purpose from the inside out. And that thought is simple. If I give her everything, she will love me. So he begins to chase. He changes how he speaks, softens his tone. He rearranges his schedule, becomes more available. He puts her first, not once, not twice, but always. He answers instantly. He agrees constantly. He apologizes for things he didn't do. He learns what she likes, not because he shares it, but because he thinks imitating desire will breed affection. And at first, she smiles. She accepts the gifts, the compliments, the sacrifices. She says, "You're so sweet." She calls him such a good guy. But look closely. Listen deeper. Because something is happening behind her eyes. A shift, a withdrawal, a disappointment she can't even explain. Because no matter what he gives, no matter how much he offers, it all feels off. She begins to test him. What if I cancel last minute? What if I ignore him? What if I flirt with another man in front of him? And when he does nothing, when he stays, when he pleads, when he proves he'll tolerate anything just to keep her, she smiles again. But this time, it's different. This time, the smile is hollow, polite, dutiful, because in her heart, something is dying, and it is respect. You see, what most men never understand is this: a woman cannot love a man she does not respect, and she cannot respect a man who chases her like prey. She may enjoy the power. She may enjoy the attention. But deep in her nature, in the ancient part of her mind that still remembers tribal truths, she knows this one thing: the man who chases her has already lost his crown. He has dethroned himself. For affection, for access, for approval. And what is a man without his crown? A beggar in disguise. No matter how much gold he throws at her feet, she knows he is not the prize. She is, and that imbalance poisons the dynamic. Slowly, failantly. Because the man who chases stops building. He orbits her, lives for her, something unresolved, thinks for her. And a man who waits on a woman's attention is no longer walking his own path. He has stepped off the battlefield and into her shadow, and what began as love becomes resentment. First hers, then his. He resents that his sacrifices were not rewarded. She resents that he sacrificed in the first place. She cannot admire a man who folds. She cannot desire a man who kneels without being asked, something unresolved. She cannot stay loyal to a man who treats her like a god. Because she is not looking for worship. She is looking for power, for strength, for certainty, for direction. And so the truth stands, sharp, unwelcome, undeniable. Most women do not want the man who dares to become great. They want the man who is available, not untouchable. Familiar, not legendary. The man who chases love will lose his mission, something unresolved. The man who bends will never be admired, and the man who abandons his purpose to be chosen will never be respected. If you were born to build empires, then build, even if you must build alone. Because the crown was never meant to be shared, and the path of kings was never meant to be crowded.